Hey, this is Brett from WPThemeSpeed, and today we're going to learn how to set up the Parallax Pro theme from StudioPress as it looks on the demo site at StudioPress.com. We do this because we also later test these themes to see how fast they are, and we have to use a baseline, so we use the demo setup as our baseline. But sometimes our viewers find it useful to see how StudioPress achieved the results they achieved themselves with the demo site. And they do provide instructions if you've downloaded the theme already. There are some instructions available to you to walk through these, but sometimes a video showing you the steps is a little easier to follow than reading through some of these steps here. And sometimes the video is a little bit more comprehensive as well. So, without further ado, we're going to get started. Now, as we get going, I need to get the theme set up. We're going to activate the Parallax Pro theme and get that going. And just for starters, I'll show you what it looks like, kind of bare bones. Nothing's set up, nothing's entered. This is basically all there is. We will be using a slightly different name, WPThemeSpeed, as opposed to the demo logo, but other than that, this should be very close to the demo. Now, StudioPress does provide some XML information such that we can kind of get things started. So we're going to start by importing that information. This comes with the theme files themselves. And pull in here to my theme files. We're looking for Parallax Pro. I'll show you where these are in case you ever need to find these yourself. You'll notice there's a folder called XML within the theme file. And within that it has the XML information of the demo site. So we'll hit choose and upload that information into the site. I will check the box to download and import files, although it's pulling from a location on StudioPress's website, and it doesn't always allow, their site doesn't always allow you to pull in the images. Some of those things are blocked, which is fine, no big deal. Don't think I have a daisy in there yet. So we're going to start the import process. Shouldn't take too long. A couple of the pages already exist, but that's okay. I'm going to review. We've got some posts that have been pulled in there. We've got some pages as well. And we'll check our media library. It didn't pull in any actual images for the most part. I had some images in here already, so this won't look. The images will need to, if we need to pull in images, we'll have to do that separately. So, post import, I'll show you what that looks like before we jump in and start the actual setup process. Obviously, this doesn't look anything like the demo site yet. So the import alone isn't going to take care of that for you. So we will be focusing heavily on a couple different areas. One is the customize area of WordPress. Then we'll touch up some things in widgets and menus, and we'll start with the header. I'm going to attempt to choose an image from my own library. It needs to be 360 by 70 pixels. Don't know if I have one of that dimension. I've got some large ones. And I've got some smaller ones. I'm going to go with a small one for now. This is that's going to be too small, so I'm going to, oops. So this may not work just yet. You'll see that you definitely want a specific image size if you can get it. It doesn't allow cropping. That'll be good enough for now. It's not going to be a finished thing. We'll save our changes. And the Parallax Pro theme requires a few different elements that are a little different than some themes. So let me walk through a couple of these. So one thing you'll notice as we scroll through here, there's a background image that seems to shift, almost like a 3D effect. The image almost bounces. That is where the name Parallax comes from. Many other theming companies have theme styles called Parallax as well. It just happens that a few of them have branded them also. So there's some background images that we're going to need for each of these to make this happen. To find the images from the demo site, I'm going to inspect the page source. Let me hit that one more time. And we're going to attempt to track down that background image. So this is in a, each of these levels have a name, home section 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And you'll notice that we have in our widget list home sections 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. That matches on purpose. There's also a site layout option we need to set. We're going to go full width. That gets rid of the sidebar. Going to go with the default style color, although we could choose something different. When you click these, it's not an instant change, but it's more of an eventual change. You'll see the font changes, the color of the font changes over there just a little bit. So let me get back in here and see if we can track down these images. Here's the first one. Here's the link for it, that is. I'm going to open this image in a new tab such that I can download it. There it is. There's the full-size image. Now, you'll notice that it's a little different in size and dimension than what we have up here. However much content you put in this section will drive how tall it gets, but the actual size is 1600 by 1050. And I'm just going to save that image into my downloads folder. And then we'll track down, because every other one has an image. There's our next one. I'll open. Oops. Open that in a new tab as well, or replace this tab. Save that image to our downloads also. And we should have one more in section 5, I believe. There it is. Save that image to our downloads folder also. Okay, so now we need to place these images into the actual theme. Where do we load those up? That sort of becomes the question. So there's a lot of things that have been happening with the editor lately, and StudioPress has also changed some of the way they do things with Genesis. So a little bit of this is different, but basically there's a section called background images for this particular theme. And within it, there is the option to set a feature an image for section 1, section 3, and section 5. And those correlate directly from top to bottom with the first section of the website where it says Hello Amazing. The background image 1 goes there. This would be section 2, no image. Then we go to section 3, which does have an image. Section 4, no image. Section 5 has an image. And then it gets off into the footer. So we want to match up our images with each of those. To upload the images, we're going to expand the little button, select a file, And in this case, we're going to find that file in my folder here. Let me sort these just a little bit so that we can see. There we have them. There's the first one. Upload that file. Let's put in the second one. Select it. Actually, this is background image 3 for section 3, not the second one, although it goes in the second in order, I guess, is the way to describe that. And then we need background image 5 for section 5. And we'll add that as well. Okay, now currently what we're seeing over here on the right, this looks like a bunch of blog articles, and the reason why it looks that way is because we have no widgets turned on for any of these sections. So what we need is the widget, or the information that's going to go into this first widget. Now, each of these sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're all driven by widgets. So as we look at the demo, we need to determine what is driving this content. Is it coming from a featured page? Is it a text widget? Is it something else? So to do that, again, I'm going to come in and look at section 1. I've kind of expanded into the HTML, and I can see from the classes that this is a text widget, and this text widget has a title of Hello Amazing. So for simplicity, I'm going to just copy some of this HTML, which I'm later going to put into a text widget. So I'm coming over here to home section 1. I'm going to add a widget. We want a text widget in particular. And copy paste the HTML in here. I don't want the divs that come with it. Get rid of the div tags. That will be redundant. We just want what would normally be there if we were entering in actual widget information into a text widget. Okay. Clean some of that up. And there we have it. So now we can see on our page we have our first section filled out. Want you to notice something about this. There's a button, the continue reading link, which we see here in our text widget. It's a hyperlink, but it has a class, and the class is equals to button. That's what makes this button look the way that it does. It's an important point in case you're looking to add buttons yourself on the home page somewhere. So we're going to minimize down that widget. We could add more widgets in here and make this taller if we wanted to, but we're going to move on to each of the sections. So within the demo site, we can now look at section 2, which appears to have a bunch of text and another continue reading button. So let's find that in the code. Here's section 2, the div for this whole section. And let's find out if this is a text widget also. I believe it is. Widget text, text title. Yes, it is. It's another text widget. We can tell by the class here that says text widget. Again, I'm going to copy the HTML to recreate this look. Scroll down, paste the HTML in, get rid of the code that I don't need that will be duplicated. Clean that up some more. And we can now see that we've got a second section. This is a preview window too, so this isn't as wide as the full screen view over here. Once I save and publish our results, we'll take a look at this page in more detail. So we need section 3. Section 3 is another image area. Your typography is the text that kicks it off. And this looks like another text widget. just one. So we're going to copy the HTML. So as you can see, this is so far all text widgets driving the look and feel of the site. So a very simple widget that looks relatively spectacular with this parallax theme style. So, to put it a different way, this the setup for this is not doesn't require a lot of rocket science whatsoever. Once I get this entered in there, we'll go look at the old-fashioned version of widgets for people that are familiar with WordPress, and you'll be able to see just how simple this is if you've seen this type of thing before. So again, another button in each of these, so you can see what a button looks like on a white background and what a button looks like when it's over top of an image. Section 4. Now this one, there's a pricing table in section 4. So how did they do that? Now there are plugins out there that can help you create pricing tables, and some of them are very good, and I do recommend considering those if you don't like the exact look of this particular pricing table. However, if you like this pricing table, it's something that you could potentially recreate yourself. Let's take a look at it just a little bit. You'll see that this is, again, another text widget. So this is all a pricing table driven by text widget. But they're using the Genesis class settings that allow you to create columns. And so they're giving it a class of pricing table, but they're dividing up the columns using classes that are set by Genesis. So there's some CSS that's hard-coded into this particular theme to give you the ability to have this pricing table option. So I'm going to copy the HTML once again, because this is just, at the end of the day, it's just a text widget. So for demo purposes, this is super simple. If you want to edit a pricing table, you'll need to do a little bit of HTML work. And cleaning this up is a little trickier just because I don't want to break the table by getting rid of some of the div tags that we do need. But we don't need the things that say text widget. So I can get rid of the div at the top and the div at the very bottom. After that, I may need the rest. So let's take a look. There's our price table. Now, it's going into a responsive mode and stacking on top of each other because in our preview, we don't have the full screen option. So I'm going to leave that the way it is. I may have to clean that up just a little bit more later, but I think I have included all the divs that I do actually need. Okay, so next, we go into the fifth section. This is the section with the last image, Connect With Me option. Now, here I think we've got a couple new things going on. So we're going to inspect this section, section 5. We see that there's a text widget. Where do those round button thingies come from? So this time, I'm going to copy the details for the text widget that is there. There is a text widget there, but there's another widget also. So we're going to add in our text widget. It says Connect With Me for the title. Okay, but there's no round buttons. So where do the round buttons come from? The round buttons, we can see there's another section that is a widget, but it's Simple Social Icons as the class. And that is because this particular theme requires a couple plugins. Let me see if I can find the plugin list. Requires the Simple Social Icons plugin. Long list. How to configure. Let's just jump to section 5 here. Simple Social Icons widget, which comes from a plugin. does require it, but I don't see the section in this area where it calls for that actual plugin. Anyway, I believe I do have it installed. I don't know if I have it activated just yet, so we'll have to check that. So I'm going to come in here. I do have Simple Social Icons, the plugin installed. So I'm going to add Simple Social Icons, and I'm going to center them. On the demo, they've got Facebook, Google+, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter, it looks like. I'm going to copy the links for each of those. Looks like it goes to Brian Gardner's personal stuff, which is fine. What was that last one? It was Google+. You'll see as I add these links, they're starting to show up. We've already got 2 buttons there. I think we need Instagram next. Takes a second. It's not completely instant, but it's relatively quick. The new editor, which is standard part of WordPress, is very handy. I think we need Pinterest next. Notice I'm just pasting the hyperlinks for the actual location of each of these. And then Twitter being the last one. And there we go. So we've added that final section and all is good. You could change the alignment. There's some options that come with this. Center looks best for several different reasons, but you do have some options if you want to use that plugin somewhere else. So there's our initial run of this. I'm going to save our work because I don't want to lose where I am, and I want to I'm going to close the customize area, and we're going to take a look at our home page real quick just to see where we stand. We're not done yet. You'll notice I used a logo that's a little too big up there, so it looks a little wonky. That's okay. I wanted to demonstrate the problem, and finding the right logo is a function of using your favorite photo editor, not something done in WordPress. We've got our pricing table working. The Connect With Me is down there. So let's compare that to our demo site. Get rid of some of this HTML. We're missing this red section down here, the Get in Touch area. We're missing some menu items at the top, and down here at the bottom where it says Category 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are menu options as well. Let's take a look at our menus. So we're going to go into the WordPress editor. There's a couple different places where we could do that. When we imported that information in that XML file, it pulled in some menus. And we can see that there are 2 menus to choose from. You'll notice that this one, the one with the categories, has some submenus. This is new for the latest version of Genesis 2.1.1. They changed things around and they've put the sub menu, the secondary menu, in the footer of several of their Pro themes, including the Parallax Pro theme. But it's only one level. This isn't a drop-down menu. So even though there are sub-menu items for this category available, they don't show up with the way this particular menu is set up. So if you're racking your brain trying to figure out how to put a drop-down menu down here, it's not you, it's Genesis. So we want to manage the locations of where these show up. They are in there, but they're not set to a location. So we're going to test the primary navigation menu. That's not going to work. I want to show you what happens though. And we'll hit Save Changes. And just as a reminder, the menu at the top of the setup here shows the menu just to the right of the words Parallax Pro, the header, and then there's a menu with categories down at the bottom. So let's see what it looks like for us when we open this up into a new screen. No menu at the top, so our primary menu didn't show up, and when we scroll down to the bottom, we do have the categories, and like I mentioned, there's no drop-down for all the subcategories under Category 2. So, a couple lessons that I want to point out there. The primary navigation menu doesn't show up. It is a menu system, but it doesn't show up when you show up on the website when you list it there. It doesn't show up on the home page, that is. What we want is a menu in the header right section of the site. There's a widget option, and this is our normal widget view. You'll notice we did some work already and we filled in all these areas and they show up here. Here's all of our text widgets and our simple social icons widget that we've already worked with. But we need another custom menu, and we're going to add it to the header right section, adding the widget. And now we're going to select our primary navigation menu, hit save, and instead of a new window, I'm just going to open up a new tab. And now we can see that our menu shows up to the right of our words, or our logo. If I wanted to change the header around, if I wanted to, let's say, remove the header image, I can do that. And now we have something a little more similar looking to what they have. So we've got our menu at the top, drop downs and the like. We've got our site name, our header name. You'll notice as I scroll through these, the menu stays present. It stays on top of everything that we're scrolling through. So there's quick access to that from any scrolling location on the site. Kind of handy. And there you have it. Okay, so we're making lots of progress. But we still don't have this big red area down here. What in the world is that? What drives that? So let's, again, take a look at inspecting this section. This is, we've had our 5 sections, and then there's this other thing. It's below, it's in the footer widgets, down here. So what we have here are some footer widgets, some text widgets it looks like. So I'm going to copy some HTML and we're going to go on the hunt and see if we can track down where these footer widgets are. I'm going to go back to Customize one more time. We've been here before. And you notice we worked through sections 1 through 5. In the widget section, we added the header right item in. Now there's a footer widget section which we haven't touched yet, and I'm going to expand that and choose another text widget. Once again, one last time, I'm going to put in some of the HTML. Oops, scrolling too fast. Put in our title. Get rid of the HTML that we do not need. And as I scroll down, see that we now have this red area showing up. I'm going to save and publish work, making that viewable, and I'll refresh the full screen view. And as I scroll down, we should see the red area show up. There we are. Let's get you started. Is now set. So there is the Parallax Pro homepage setup. Let's take a look at some of the installation details just in case there's something that we might have missed that could be important. We've covered navigation menus, how to configure the home page, which includes sections 1 through 5, how to configure the home background areas. Those were the images and the footer widgets. We've done that. Special widget areas included in the Parallax Pro theme, and pull images on single post widgets. Let's take a So the Parallax Pro theme demonstrates the use of poll images. The images in the image show the images pulled to the left and the right of the post content. So let's see what they're talking about there. Post with threaded comment. That's something I think a little bit new in this latest version of Parallax Pro. So here we go. So it pulls in an image and it puts it off to the side here. In this particular blog post, though, we don't have an image that actually came in. So the image didn't get loaded with our XML data. So let's take a look at it on the demo site. Let's see if we can clean that up. It's the same image that we had here. I'm going to download that to our downloads one more time. And so you'll notice as I click into this blog article, it's got an image class that's called pull left. A slightly different way of displaying the sample image. So I'm going to see what it looks like when we add a new image. Oops, let me make sure I've got this spaced correctly so that you can see the before and after. So I'm going to try to add that same image, except for I'm pulling the one that we just downloaded. So I'm going to go into my downloads. I'm pulling the sample 1 image from the demos. And let's see, what were the instructions that they were trying to share with us? This effect can be created in the post of theme easily. After inserting an image into your post using the Add Media button, you can click on the image in the visual toolbar, load the options to edit the image. Click on the advanced and change the CSS class. Okay, so basically you have to do some CSS, not some CSS, you have to do some HTML work after you load this image in. So do whatever you're going to do it like you normally would through WordPress here. And I don't want it linked, however, we'll insert that image into the post. And then basically what they're telling you is if you want to achieve that floating left look, let's save it once so you'll see the before and after. So I'm going to open this into a new tab. So our image didn't fall over here to the left like the other one did outside the boundary. If we want it to do that, we have to, after we load the image in, we have to come in here and we take a look at the class now. They use something called pull left. So we need to come in here and replace or add the class pull left. And I think we can do it with the other ones that are already in there. Well, actually that might conflict. I'm going to take those out and just replace it all together. And we'll save that. Now that image falls outside there. Of course, they're stacking on top of each other because we've got 2 in there that we shouldn't have. So I'm going to get rid of the second one. Update one more time. And now the image kind of falls out there to the left. You could kick it out to the left or to the right. If you want it to go to the right, just replace the word left with right. Save your work. Refresh your page, and it kicks over there to the right. So there you have it. There's the quick demo on how to set up the Parallax Pro theme on a WordPress website. If you've got any questions, please leave some comments. Either if you're seeing this on a blog article, please leave some comments below, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a reply with your questions below as well. We would definitely welcome your subscription to our YouTube channel. I appreciate that very much, as well as if you share this through other social media channels, Twitter or Facebook, or anybody that you might think of might find use in this example. We hope this has helped. If you've got other themes you'd like us to preview for you or figure out how to set them up for you, we'd be happy to discuss that as well. Check us out at youtube.com/WPThemeSpeed or find us at WPThemeSpeed.com.